Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Wherever you're at, whatever you're doing, I am glad that you chose to spend some time with me. Hey, so should SDRs podcasts and what really helps SDRs in today's interesting environment? Today, I get to talk to oh boy, excuse me. I get to talk to Morgan J Ingram. I'm excited to talk to Morgan. He's a top 25 sales development thought leader. He's a host of the STR Chronicles, which he says is now less frequent but even more impactful. His work has been featured in Forbes, Harvard Business Review, Sales Hacker, and now get this: he's a sales rep who happens to be a sales coach and trainer at JB Sales. They train sales teams how to use modern sales techniques to bolster pipeline, leverage social media, schedule net new accounts, and a cold call with confidence. All the important stuff that an SDR needs. What's up, Morgan? How are you?
What's going on? I'm doing great.
Good. So, hey, I got to ask you, man. So, how long ago did you start the SDR Chronicles?
It's 4 years ago.
4 years ago. And you were an SDR then?
I was an SDR. So right out of college, first job.
Wow. Yeah. So what said, I got to start this? Why would you do that?
Yeah. So a lot of things in my career, the reason I do them is because I see someone post something or someone says something to me and I'm like, that's exactly what I need to go do. So Ralph Barcy at the time put down a challenge, a gauntlet, and it was like, hey, an SDR should create a YouTube channel. And then I think a couple months later, Gary Vaynerchuk said something similar, like a sales rep should start creating their brand. And so this was during the time where the only people who were creating brand were people that were in consulting or some sales leaders, but no rep was creating content at all. So I decided to take the leap and be that first person to create that content because I knew that there was a white space in the market and I took full advantage of it and went after it.
Awesome. That's really smart, man. I don't see enough salespeople realize that they are the difference between why somebody buys and why somebody doesn't. They really focus on, it's got to be the product, or I got to have case studies, I got to have all that, and that might be true further down the road, right? When we get to decision time, but to get in the door, man, you really have to be different. You have to really stand out. So the fact you had a podcast as an SDR is frankly amazing. So 4 years later now, would you say that an SDR should start a podcast? Should they still spend time on their personal brand, or what do you think, Morgan?
So you should spend time on your personal brand, but I'm not saying for you to create a podcast. A lot of people are like, wait, I'm not expecting that answer. So here's the thing. My boss told me, Morgan, you have an internal and an external brand. So your internal brand is how everyone sees you in the organization. The external brand is the content you put out there. So at the time, I was building my external brand by putting out content and my internal brand by connecting people in the organization. And that rise was an incredible journey. The journey is still incredible, but from the first SDR Chronicle to just being an SDR and talking to people and being in rooms that you really shouldn't be in at all was an amazing experience for me, and it continues to be an amazing experience for me. And so to answer your question here, an SDR should be building their brand internally 100%. Externally, how do you do that? You don't have to do a podcast. You don't have to do a YouTube channel. You don't have to go create something crazy. All you need to do is go comment on your buyers' content, go to where they live and engage with them. And that's how you can build your brand without having to create content on a daily basis. It's all going to depend upon your goals. My goals were completely different at the time because I wanted to get into something completely different. And then now here I am doing things because I shared a journey and I was willing to be vulnerable.
Wow. I think that's so important. And let's talk about those two pieces really a lot more, because I think those are really important frames. And then we'll get into the actual practical tactical of what we think SDR should do. But let's talk about that internal brand. And because I think so often, to your point, right, people think, oh, well, I got to show up on social. If I can't Google you, you don't really exist. But I would argue, if you're not any good talking to your boss, if you're not any good talking to customers, if you don't actually do the work, it doesn't matter how strong your brand is, right? Yeah. So what? Tell me more about what that internal brand means, Morgan.
Yeah, so the internal brand is talking to your colleagues asking for feedback from your boss and taking action on that. I was talking to people in customer success and marketing and product, and I was seeing what could I do as an SDR. I always asked, and sometimes there were things that I could do for them that I had no idea that I could help with. And so by asking different departments on how you can help, socializing with other people and seeing how you can help them accomplish their goals, that's how you build your internal brand. And I loved doing that. I loved going to customer success. I loved going to marketing. I loved going to different departments and understanding how could I help them. And it just helps increase your brand because you get put on projects that you never would have been put on, but you get put on those projects because you're willing to put yourself out there. And I was able to do that. Other colleagues I had did a way better job of it than me. They always just went to different departments, asked how they could help, and then they gave their advice or gave their guidance on what they could do there to help them be successful.
Good. So Elizabeth Frederick says we have an internal and external, right? Focus your goals, engage with people. Absolutely. I think that's really great advice there, Elizabeth. So an SDR, though, isn't their job just to make calls, Morgan? I mean, isn't that all they're supposed to do, right? Aren't they just appointment setters? And I say that tongue fully in cheek, knowing that's not true. But talk to me about that, man, because I think that is a myth that people have, that it's just, you just need to bang out 95 calls a day and that's your job.
No, that's not it anymore. You have to be able to do a multi-channel approach. You have to be able to call, email, make videos, know what your buyers are talking about. It's a lot harder than what people realize. What I always say about the SDR role is the SDR role is simple, but it's not easy. To go up every single day and knowing that you're going to have rejection and people are going to say, I'm not interested in this, I don't want to talk to you. That's a difficult thing mentally to prepare yourself for. So on top of everything that's happening across the board, the main goal is for everyone, if you're an SDR right now, is to figure out how can I prospect in the right way? How do I know about what my buyers are going through so then I can prospect them effectively? Because if you're an SDR sitting here right now, you have a massive opportunity to build a mindset that is untouchable to a certain degree because you were mentally able to go into work every single day knowing, hey, I'm going to face rejection. However, I'm going to overcome that and see results. So it's way more than just I make dials. And when I first started off in my role, that's how people saw it. And I was like, I'm going to make it more than that. And that's why I created a YouTube channel. That's why I did the podcast. That's how I took it to the next level, because I was like, this is just more than just doing this job.
Yeah, absolutely. It's simple but not easy. I think that's really important, right? And we want to get inside our buyers' heads and really serve them, right? To sell is to serve. It's really important that we do that. How can we help them? How can we work with them? So as we talk about the external brand, how important is it that we, I like to call it getting dressed before you get busy, right? Having a profile that is buyer centric instead of a profile that looks like you're looking for your next great SDR job.
Yeah. So first and foremost, you have to make sure that you have a great professional headline. That's where people mess up. You got to have something that talks about the buyer, right? So how do you help people? How do you empower them? How do you impact them? So if you look at my profile right now, it talks about how I am helping sales leaders. Hey, I'm impacting sales reps to prospect through the noise. So if your reps are struggling with prospecting, I'm a person that you most likely are going to want to talk to. And that's how I put the headline. We also have to make sure that our headshot is on point, right? You don't want to have a selfie in a bar. You want to make sure that your headshot is professional, where somebody can look at it and be like, that's a person I want to talk to. The other thing that you want to pay attention to is your about section. What do you do on a daily basis? What do you stand for? People want to relate to you. So you want to put something there that they're like, okay, I can relate to this person based on what they put in the about section. And the last piece is what's in your job description. Don't put, hey, I got the president's list 5 years in a row as an SDR, right? That's nobody cares about that. Your buyers don't care about that. And only do that if you're going to look for a new opportunity. However, if you're not looking for a new opportunity, then make sure that you put things there that, hey, why did you join this organization and you decided to be an SDR? And then on top of that, what's the media that you can put in there that's relevant as well? So those are just key factors.
Awesome. Awesome. I love that. I love that. So that external brand starts with your profiles. How does that look? Making sure that you have a buyer focused headline, make sure you've got a professional headshot, not doing keg stands or something stupid on
Yeah.
there. Write a good about section and have a good buyer focused job description. I'd love that. I think that's really, really great advice, Morgan. So let's say we've got that, right? We've got these fundamental things, really important. Now what, right? So now it's really hard. To your point, I think it's more important now than ever, though I think it's always been important that we focus on what our buyer needs. So how do we get inside their heads? How do we understand what they need so that we can actually serve them?
Yeah. So I always encourage SDRs to do this. I wish I would have done this when I first started out, is go to customer success. Go to the customer success teams and ask them, what are the buyers going through? What are things that are happening? And have a concise and clear conversation with them so then you can leverage that to go prospect as well. Also sit on AE's calls, get insights from them. You can even just take a notepad, go listen to the testimonials and write out how your solution helps solve these problems that are happening with your personas, right? So those are things that I would do at the end of the day to make sure that you have the right problems and priorities that are covered. So then you're in a good spot across the board.
Awesome. Awesome. So I like that. Three things you said there, right? Talk to the customer success team, ask them what the buyers are going through. That's really, really smart. I would say, that not only talks to you about what the successes are, but hopefully what the challenges are as well and how you can help overcome them. Really
Absolutely.
important, right? Talk with an account exec, spend time with them, listen to them, pay attention to them, build that relationship. So that they give you feedback, right? And I would argue feed forward, right? Before you even put that opportunity in front of them. Hey, is this in the right format, right? Do I have this in a way that you can close the deal? And then, yeah, man, go listen to those success stories. Go listen to those testimonials. Go read those, right? Read those blog posts. And I would even encourage, go do that on your competitors' blogs too. Go find out like what's going on because, success leaves clues. We need to spend some time listening to, oh, this is it, right? Because so many of the products aren't differentiated. It's the salesperson at the time that they sell that is what's differentiated even more than the products in this case.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Cool. So we did that. So now let's talk a little bit. We've got that, right? That helps us tee up our conversation. So how do we talk to the customer now, right? How do we talk to the prospect now? I mean, do we need to address the elephant in the room? Do we need to mention, hey, how's it going? Do we need to lead with empathy? I mean, what do we do?
So not lead with fake empathy, leading with tactical empathy. So this is from Chris Voss. Don't know if you guys follow him. He's a great follow, has a lot of great content. And one thing he talks about is tactical empathy. So knowing what I talked about earlier, what does the buyer care about? What are their priorities? What are their challenges, obstacles, etc.? All these things matter, right? So if you're able to cover what these things are, then it allows for you to have a better conversation with that individual. And when we look at it from a prospecting standpoint, leading with how you're doing today, hope all is well, hope is safe, right? You guys know all of them. I would take that out and replace it with something that is about them. So I noticed something on the website. I saw this on your LinkedIn profile. These are things that you can state that lead to a reason of why I want to have this conversation with you. So at the end of the day, don't lead with fake empathy, lead with tactical empathy. Do the research. If you haven't done the research, know what the buyer's problems are, and then have a conversation with them there.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah. Find something personal on their LinkedIn profile, right? Do the research, look at their website if you have that, right? If you really want to, if it's a bigger company, you might even want to look at their 10K to try to find that out and partner with your AE to find out. So, hey, I'm thinking about prospecting this account. What do you think here? Let maybe come up with either a prospecting plan that can help you for those bigger deals, but for those smaller deals, I mean, if you're selling to one industry and one persona, you should have their challenges that are happening right now pretty buttoned up. I mean, you can go find anybody on LinkedIn who's posted in the last 30 days about what these challenges are. Go review what they've said, and you can use that to start a conversation, because if they don't have those problems, they might have those problems, right? And they might not even be aware of it because they might not even be far enough down the cycle here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool. So we got that right. We start the conversation here now. Now let's get a little more practical here. So voicemails, emails, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, right? So which way do we need?
In terms of prospecting for the SDR?
Yeah. Yep.
It depends, right? Because everyone lives differently, right? There could be, your buyers could be more active on Twitter. They could be more active on Pinterest. They could be more active on TikTok, Phil. I don't know. like I have no idea. I don't know where everyone's targeting here right now. So what I will say though, is based on a study that came out last week, is 75% of the increase in activities from an SDR are new and unique ways to reach out. So any idea that you've had and you're like, I don't know if I should do that, you should pull it out and now do it. So if you've been meaning to make videos, now is the time to make videos. If you've been meaning to put memes in your emails to handle prospects, I'd start doing that as well, right? Maybe even think about GIFs or GIFs or whatever you want to call them. Maybe even think about that for prospecting. It's the time to do it now, because you have absolutely nothing to lose when everybody's looking for different messaging, because people are getting more stressed out. They're more pressed to hit their number, and they're doing things that they normally wouldn't do, which leads to generic and templated messaging, which most people are going to decline and move on from. So in order to get those responses and engage with the people you're looking to engage with, the goal for everyone here is try new and unique ways to reach out to your prospects. I also would encourage everyone, if your buyers are there, use LinkedIn and leverage it, because that's where we've seen a lot of success from clients that we talk to and other reps that I chat with on a daily basis.
Wow. So 75% of prospecting is new methods and ways, which totally makes sense. I mean, we're now actually connecting with people, and we're finding out that sounding like everybody else doesn't help, right? Different is better than better in many cases, right? We need to find a differentiator. So GIFs or GIFs are okay, right? Emojis are probably all right. Video is fine. Even I would say, if you can connect to someone, LinkedIn voice messaging is another good way to stand out, right? But be different. Don't try to be the same, right? Try to be different.
Okay. Absolutely.
So what goes in one of those videos or voicemails, Morgan? What are we talking about there? Are we trying to trick him into getting to call us back and pretend we're the IRS, or what do we do here?
I don't know if that's going to work out. I don't know if you guys want to get arrested unless you're looking to go to jail. Maybe that's a tactic you could take, right? But the tactic to do, right? I've been talking about this a lot. 10, 30, 10 is the structure that you want to leverage to get these results. Now, what you will see is you can't send LinkedIn videos or voice messages to prospects unless you're first degree connected. So make sure that you're doing that first. That's a huge point. Once you have gotten that person connected, wait 2 days to reach out to them if that's the first time they connected with you. And then you're either going to do a LinkedIn video or a LinkedIn voice message. Both of those, you use the 10-30-10 formula. LinkedIn voice message is only up to 60 seconds. The video is up to 2 minutes, but you want to keep your voice message around 45 to 55 seconds, and then the video less than 90 seconds. And how you deliver that is in the first 10 seconds, you found a trigger or you're stating a problem that prospect is going through. So for example, I noticed something on your LinkedIn. I noticed something on your website, or we talked to VPs of sales like yourself, and one of their main problems is they're trying to keep their team motivated and inspired. So that's a key factor there. Another one, the 30 seconds, value prop, your elevator pitch. What you would say on the phone is how you would deliver that via video. And then 10 seconds is the call to action. So a collaborative call to action is what I tell people to lean on. So that's open to learning more, interested in a deeper dialogue, etc. Those are things that can help you across the way as well.
Awesome. That's really good, man. So 10-30-10, super simple there for folks to do. I love that open-ended call to action instead of, hey, give me a call back at. But yeah, I think, open to learning more gives people an out. And by giving people an out, it's actually counterintuitively working for you. I mean, Bob Berg said this years ago. He said, when you give people the opportunity to decline, often they will accept. And it's really interesting how that works, even though, that doesn't always seem to make sense. So Morgan, You mentioned, though, this 75% of prospecting here. Who put out that study? Where did you find that? Let's make sure we get that linked up.
Yeah, I can go find the link and send it to you, Phil. It,
Okay.
it has a whole breakdown. So it says 75% increase in XDR activities is new messaging. It has 48% increase in LinkedIn activity. It's a 38% increase in dials. I forgot exactly who sent out the report. I just have it on my desktop and I look at it.
Cool.
I'm like, that was a great report. So Phil, I'll make sure to send that out
Awesome.
to you so you have it.
Awesome. We'll make sure we get that linked up. So final thoughts here, Morgan, as we kind of wrap here today. What are some final thoughts for an SDR that's challenged right now? If they're struggling to like, man, I make my 90 dials, I make my 95 dials, I'm doing the work, but I'm really not getting the results. Offer some encouragement or some insight that can maybe help them get to the next stage.
So I have two things. One is be a detective. Everyone, if you are on a team that has over 5 people, right? Even if you're a rep that's on a team of 3, you can still do this. So let's break it down into 2 lanes. One lane is if you have a team over 5 people, go find the people that are really great at certain things. So there's someone on your team who's really great at making calls. There's someone on your team who's really good at sending emails. There's someone on your team who's really good at social. Find those people and ask them questions to be like, how are you good at this email? How are you good at sending this, doing this call? How are you good at social? And take notes on it and then use it in your process. I did that myself, and that's how I was able to be massively successful as an SDR. And I think a lot of people don't take the time to do that. And you're all just learning off of each other at the end of the day, right? Because you're going to take your own spin on it. The second thing is, know right now, this is a very unique opportunity. If you're able to prospect through this mess right now and be successful, you have an untouchable resume moving forward. So have that mindset from a prospecting standpoint, and that will help you be massively successful in everything that you do moving forward. So think about that. Wake up every morning excited about that. And that's how I'd move forward if I was an SDR right now.
Awesome. Love those final tips, Morgan. Being a detective, really fantastic there. And then have that mindset that if you can be successful now, you're pretty much going to be untouchable the rest of your career. But that means you got to be resilient. You got to keep after this, gang. It's simple, but it's not easy. Really great tips today, Morgan. So
Absolutely.
If people want to talk to you more, if they want to get in touch with you, if they want to learn more about the goodness that you do, how do they do that?
Reach out to me on LinkedIn. Super simple, Morgan J Ingram. Follow me there. Hit me up there if anyone has any follow-up questions. But that's the best place to contact me.
Awesome. Awesome. So I'll drop a link to Morgan's LinkedIn profile there. We'll link that up. We'll get that article for you, gang. But there's a lot of great stuff here. Hopefully you took some time, you took some notes, you realize that being a detective is really important. Doing the research, doing the hard work is super important. And make sure that you focus on that mindset, right? Keep going, gang. You can get through this no matter what. Morgan, it was a pleasure to talk to you today. Thank you so much for dropping so many smart bombs, man. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on, Phil.
My pleasure.